The Baltimore Ravens just got great news, and day 4 of training camp just gave us another look on where this team is heading, and there were a lot of encouraging signs. Baltimore took practice to SECU Stadium at the University of Maryland in front of over 20,000 fans. Lamar Jackson continued to build chemistry within the younger players and the new offense of Declan Doyle. Younger players stepped up with very important roles going into this upcoming season, with them getting very important reps during these days of training camp, and the defense continued to make plays throughout the entirety of training camp. We are really starting to get an idea of a sense that players are separating themselves and position battles are starting to become very interesting for the Baltimore Ravens heading and building this team towards the 26-27 season. So we're going to break down everything that stood out from day 4 of the Baltimore Ravens training camp. But before we get into today's video, you guys are going to want to make sure to hit that subscribe button. As we are at 995 subscribers, we are 5 away. We are so close to hitting our goal of 1,000 subscribers. It is completely free, no cost at all, and we're providing daily Baltimore Ravens videos, updates, and all things Baltimore Ravens. You guys are not going to want to miss out on the content we are providing on a daily basis at all. But let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens taking their camp to College Park at the University of Maryland. Day 4 was very different for the Baltimore Ravens because instead of practicing at the Under Armour Performance Center, the Ravens traveled to the University of Maryland campus to give fans a good live setting practice. And this gave the team an opportunity to show some of the larger stadium environments to their fan base and experience a bunch of different atmosphere levels in terms of their normal practice setting. And Jesse Minter sees this as every single practice mattering, and this being an opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to capitalize while playing on a collegiate and a NFL level field. And the Baltimore Ravens are still looking to install their newer systems, build chemistry, and figure out what players can handle bigger responsibilities. And in this different setting, it gives coaches another chance to evaluate players going into a close game situation going into this upcoming season. And during this practice specifically, there were a several amount of key players that did not practice on Saturday, as there were a lot of veterans off, including Derrick Henry, Ronnie Stanley, Trey Hendrickson, Nnamdi Madubuike, Calais Campbell, and Ethan Pochik all not practicing. Plus Ted Buchanan with the knee injury, John Jenkins and Travis Jones, and a non-football related illness for Corey Bullock going into the 26-27 early days of training camp. But the fan turnout was very impressive for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens brought in 20,185 fans for this practice, and this is the type of crowd that creates energy within the Baltimore Ravens, as you don't always get this normal crowd for a training camp practice. And for these players, especially the younger guys that are fighting for roles, these moments really matter for the Baltimore Ravens are very important to give them a chance to perform in front of this larger crowd and this larger audience. But the location was different, but the focus remained the same for the Baltimore Ravens, and that all starts with their MVP, Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson continued to build chemistry within this new offense that Declan Doyle is trying to run and continue to get valuable work on day 4. Lamar Jackson finished the day with 8 of 10 of passing, with one of his reps going for an interception. And the biggest thing to watch for Lamar Jackson this entire offseason has been his comfort level in the entire new system that Declan Doyle is trying to provide. The Baltimore Ravens know what Lamar Jackson can do individually, and now it is all about seeing how this offense pans and works together. Lamar Jackson continues to spread the wealth as he spread the ball around in day 4, with completions going to Josh Cuevas, Durham Smythe, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Rashad Bateman. And Zay Flowers led the way with 3 catches, and Mark Andrews had 2 receptions. And the chemistry between Lamar Jackson and these top weapons on the team are one of the biggest storylines heading into training camp. And Lamar Jackson is very happy and excited to have a healthy training camp going into this upcoming season, and is looking to have a very beneficial season with all of his healthy receiver pieces back. And one of the better offensive plays came today when the Ravens had a play action pass and connected with Rashad Bateman over the middle. And these are the type of concepts that the Baltimore Ravens are developing, and it's not just about making one big play. It is about the Baltimore Ravens trusting within the receivers and their timing, their trust, and their communication and consistency before the regular season gets started for the Baltimore Ravens. But while Lamar Jackson continued to work with his established weapons on the team, the Baltimore Ravens saw a high-level performance from their young players, and they're starting to show up. Adam Randall is one of these players, as the young running back continued to get opportunities in a very talented backfield, with Derrick Henry sitting out this practice, and he made a very big impact due to him catching a reception from Lamar Jackson. And for Adam Randall, Randall, these plays are very important as the Baltimore Ravens already know that Derrick Henry is leading the running back room, and now these younger running backs have to find ways to separate themselves within this running back room. And being able to contribute in the pass game can make a player way more valuable. Whether it is running the ball, helping out in pass protection, or making plays as a receiver, every single skill set matters, and Adam Randall is a player that coaches are evaluating, and his skill set is something, especially in the receiving game, that the Baltimore Ravens are looking forward to going into the 26-7 season. But on the defensive side of the ball, Chandler Rivers also had a very impressive day as the young cornerback continued to get valuable reps against Baltimore's offense, and he showed why the Baltimore Ravens were interested in developing him in the first place. Going against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' offensive weapons and these younger backs, it allows them to have the opportunity to experience the speed and physicality of these NFL #1 receiver competitions. And though these reps might not always show up on a stat sheet, they are extremely important, especially that the Ravens are giving these younger players chances, and now it is about who can consistently make plays for the Baltimore Ravens from this perspective. But when we talk about making plays for the Baltimore Ravens, Malaki Starks continues to make a strong impression during training camp. The Ravens safety recorded another pass breakout during day 4 and continues to look like one of the early breakout candidates for the defense going into his second year. And Malaki Starks has consistently been around the football throughout camp and being able to produce for the Baltimore Ravens in their secondary. And for a younger player, the Baltimore Ravens are very excited, and this is what coaches really want to see, as the Ravens drafted him to become a major part of this defense a year ago, and so far he has continued to show why the Baltimore Ravens made a good pick in drafting him and why they believe he could be a very detrimental piece for the Baltimore Ravens. Another cool thing that we saw involving the end of practice was Lamar Jackson and University of Maryland Malik Washington swapping quarterback jerseys and showing love to each other, as Malik Washington is one of the best quarterbacks at the University of Maryland and in college football going into his second year. And he could be a very capitalist piece for the college scene, and the Baltimore Ravens love showing love to the other schools that are in Maryland. But as we talk about Malaki Starks previously, he wasn't the only defensive back that made an impact, as a sleeper player, Keyon Martin, made a very high-level play for the Baltimore Ravens defense as he intercepted Lamar Jackson during the end of practice. And for a player competing in this very talented secondary, these are the moments that can separate players. And the Ravens have a lot of competition in that defensive back room. Every single interception, every single pass breakup, and every single strong rep, they all matter for the Baltimore Ravens and this young secondary. And training camp is all about creating separation, and it is players competing not just against opponents, they're competing against their teammates and trying to make these plays to eventually move up in the depth chart. And a play like Martin's interception can go a long way when coaches are evaluating the roster and looking forward to what you could bring to the Baltimore Ravens system and their offense. But when we shift over towards special teams, as we know, Tyler Loop, the Baltimore Ravens kicker, has had a very interesting training camp, as he had 2 missed attempts this day of training camp, with him coming short of 2 kicks and going wide left in both of these scenarios. But Tyler Loop ended up responding at the end of camp and made a 43-yard field goal, and that final kick had prevented the team from having to do push-ups and continue the practice as a whole. Jesse Minter talked about being in those difficult situations and trying to create these difficult situations throughout training camp, and being able to respond after these mistakes, especially in a position that matters so hugely, such as a kicker. Through these 4 practices, Tyler Loop is unofficially 4 for 6 and is continuing to build and work towards having a productive season based on the disappointing loss to the Steelers last season. And after the 4 Baltimore Ravens practices, we're starting to see some early trends with the Baltimore Ravens team, especially with Lamar Jackson and the offense. They are still adjusting to the Declan Doyle system. Lamar Jackson is continuing to build chemistry with his weapons, and the defense is continuing to fly around and make plays. Malaki Starks continues to look like one of the biggest standouts throughout training camp, and these younger players such as Adam Randall and Chandler Rivers are getting these valuable reps to show coaches what they can do. The biggest part of training camp and in day 4 is continuing to create competition with the roster. And this competition is exactly what the Baltimore Ravens are looking for heading into the 26th season, and exactly what they are wanting. So now, day 4 of training camp gave us another look, and the offense continues to develop. But what stood out most for you from day 4? Was it Lamar Jackson and him building towards another season? Was it Malaki Starks? Was it Keyon Martin's interception? Or was it one of the younger players such as Adam Randall fighting for a bigger role? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to Ravens Digest, it is completely free, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss any Ravens rumors, updates, or training camp updates at all. Thanks for watching per usual, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, Ravens flock always.